I've thought a lot about what I wanted to say tonight, but I'm not really a storyteller, but I like to tell the truth. But I am terrified of public speaking. Are any of y'all, how many out there like to speak in public? Anybody? Aaron, yeah. Ron? Sure. I hate it. And I've never been able to overcome it. I've done it several times in my career, and I've never gotten over the fear. And how many of y'all would rather choke on a chicken bone than speak in public? Me too. So anyway, I'm going to try to just talk about some of the things that have gone on in my life. Recently, how many people have aged about 10 years in the last 3 years? Oh, I hope this doesn't go on. So, yeah, I'm surviving still. I have lived a charmed life my whole life. The first half of my life, I was surrounded by friends and family that always took care of me when I screwed things up in my life, and I did that quite often. And then the last 30 years, I've been with Adra, my wife, and she's been the best companion of anybody that I know of who has a companion in their life. And she and my family have just really taken care of me over the years, and I'm really appreciative of that. Last year, I had been retired for a few years, and Pete and Chuck came up with this harebrained idea to do an e-zine in Winchester. And we were sitting around at a discussion group about a year ago, and they brought up the idea of what they were going to do. And, you know, I'm sitting there thinking, that sounds pretty interesting. And then Adra jumps in and says, Jeff knows more about music than anybody I know. And so she volunteered me to get involved in this. And actually, I am so happy that she spoke up and did that, because I wouldn't have, you know, I hate speaking in even small groups. But I jumped into it, and I have done nothing but play rock and roll, rock music, pop music at home to put these little blogs together each week. And I don't know how many of you have actually read and listened to my little blog. Good. Keep it up. You know, one thing that I've noticed over the past year is I'm a very anxious person, very anxious. I go to a therapist to talk about my anxiety, and she gives me a lot of good advice. But what I've found over the past year is if I sit back and listen to an album all the way through, and try not to think about anything else, just listen to it and really get into it. And it's like taking drugs for me. And believe me, I know what taking drugs is all about. But my hope is that you guys will take an hour maybe every week and sit back and listen to an album and just do that and see if that makes you feel better. Because, you know, we've been through some terrible times in this country lately, and it doesn't sound like it's going to get much better anytime soon. Again, I'm glad to see you all here. And Mr. Chairman, I will yield the rest of my time to the gentlewoman from Winchester.